All right, we are coming into the opening round, getting ready to enter it. A bunch of people on the Facebook channel have asked about my puppy Buster. He is a purebred Yorkie, and he's the party color, and party color is white. And he started off, his tail's still a little black, but his ears and stuff are black to start off with, and now he's getting a little tan up there. But the party color is white, and he's probably going to end up being around 9 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that is a bunch of people that asked about him, and he's trying to tear my leg up. Now, luckily, it's still a little cold here, so I have 2 pairs of socks on, but he is getting at it. All right, so let's go check the clan out here. Giving everybody a picture of Buster. He's becoming a star. So I want to kind of go through seeing where we're at and seeing what holes we've got that people are having problems on, and then talk about some of these holes. So let's see what Jake Easy's on there with the -12. Picked up hole number 2. Hole number 3, I'm going to make some notes here. Hole number 3 is an issue hole. Hole number 3. So holes that people in hole number 3 is going to be, and I'll tell you something about hole number 3 is that there may be a lot of people that aren't exerting you really need, you can shoot it from distance and get it in on hole number 3, but if you bring a power 5 ball and you can get over to the other side, if you've got an extra mile 8, if the wind is blowing just right and you hit it everything perfect and you've got an EM7, you might be able to make it over there. But if you got an extra mile 8 and a power 5 ball, if you've got an extra mile 9 and a power 5 ball, if you've got upper developed stuff and you've got an APOC 5, which most of us can only think about, like what can an APOC 5 do? You can get over there with a power 5 ball and you can limp up, get with a big dog and get your eagle and move on. But hole number 3 is a tough hole. It's a birdie hole with an eagle opportunity. Picking up hole number 2, that par 4, that is the lowest hanging fruit in this tournament. I think hole number 2, hole number 4, those are like talking about like really good shots. Hole number 2, hole number 4, hole number 7, hole number 1, those are our best 4 opportunities to pick shots up. There's opportunities on a lot of these holes, but hole number 3 is just getting the eagle and moving on. If you get over there, you do have an Albie shot, but it's pretty low percentage. And hole number 9 is you do have an Albie shot depending on where you put yourself on hole number 9, but looking good there. Hole number 3 was the issue. -10, not sure what happened on hole number 8. We'll talk about, let me make a note on hole number 8. Hole number 8 is one of those holes that can also, hey, dude. And hole number 3, everything else looks pretty good there. That's not bad. -15. Boy, we ought to go back and watch Link shoot his round. My deal is that the minimum score hasn't been in question. It's just trying to hit perfect into the cup to pick shots up is my problem. I haven't been hitting perfect. I'm showing you guys how to shoot the minimum score, but I'm not showing you how to pick up shots because I keep not hitting perfect into the cup. My odd account today, I qualified today in today's round, and I was on track for a -13, and then I timed out on hole number 7. Timed out. But Link's picking up all kinds of stuff here. Link's picking up the hole in 1-on-1, picking up the eagle on 2. Get number 3 going on there, and that's some stuff. Picking up hole number 5, that par 3, getting the hole in 1 there. Hole number 5, I'm close, but I'm still trying to dial that hole in. Also getting a hole in 1 on hole number 7. Lynx was on fire today. All 3 par 3s getting hole in 1s. That is the way to do it there. Not really any problems on that. Dude. All right, -13. Picked up, got the eagle on hole number 3. Picked up the eagle on hole number 4. Fantastic. Great job. Great job. That's exactly what I had going on in my account earlier today until I timed out. -12. Play with it. Let's talk about hole number 3. That's the hole. Hole number 6, getting the Albie. Fantastic there, bud. That's fantastic, getting that Albie on hole number 6. What's funny is that I've been, the first time in the practice round, I went on hole number 6, got the Albie in, then I did no elevation adjustment to the cup. Just did a straight up shot, bam, right dead center in the middle of the cup. And since then, I've done no elevation adjustment and an elevation adjustment and been off just a little bit. Fantastic Albie. Minus 14, picked up the picked up the eagle on 2, picked up the eagle on 3. Fantastic. Picked up the eagle on 4. So 2 of the par 4s, and for me, the par 4s are where we want to try and make our money, and getting those 2 eagles, that's fantastic. Fantastic Pats fan. Great player. All these players are great players. It's amazing. I am so blown away by the quality of players that are in our clan and how much they help each other and share and communicate, and it's just awesome. Picking up the eagle on hole number 2. Hole number 3, getting the birdie, picking up the eagle on hole number 8, and that's a tough eagle to get. I'll tell you right there, that's a winning shot, that shot on hole number 8. Because most people, I would say a good 90-95% of the people in the bracket are not going to get an eagle. So if you get an eagle on that, it's big, and there's going to be a big percentage, probably 15 to 20% that are going to end up with pars on hole number 8. And so you're getting 2 strokes up on them. That's a big hole to get an eagle on. Jason, minus 12. Getting the eagle, just a nice, that is the absolute perfect round, getting the eagle on hole number 3. That's an excellent job right there. I got the 12 same way, just a nice clean round, didn't pick up anything. It takes perfect shot into the cup, and I'm just not hitting perfect. Semper Fi, minus 13, did not get the eagle on 3, did pick up the eagle on hole 4 and on hole 8. So 2 of the par 4s picking up the eagle. Those are big pickups right there. That's fantastic. Joe Golf, playing in pro. Minus 13. That's a fantastic score there, Joe. Picking up the eagle on hole number 2. Picking up the eagle on hole number 4. Very nice job. So not seeing really any problem, like really big problems. Everybody's shooting really good. Minus 13, picking up the eagle on 2, picking up the eagle on 4. Those par 4s are where we make our money. Denman, minus 11. Not sure what happened on 8, but let me make another note for 8. Getting the birdie on hole 3. We'll talk about that a little bit. Ryan Chastity, minus 11. Hole number 3. That's the deal. Picking up the eagle on 4, not getting the eagle on the par 5, hole number 6. Let me put 6 down there as a hole that we've had an issue with. Nice eagle on 4, though. That's very nice. I'm not sure what happened on 6. I will tell you on hole number 6. We'll talk about it when I'll pull those images up and we'll talk about it. Picking up the eagle on hole number 4. I'm seeing a lot of eagles on hole number 4. Hole number 4 is definitely some low-hanging fruit. Hole number 2 is the lowest hanging fruit. But seeing a lot of people pick up the eagle on hole number 4, that's really good. Nice clean round. Kill shot, BP 13. Minus 12. Nice clean round, picking up the eagle on 4 to get yourself up to the minimum or the minus 12. Scott, cheap. Minus 12. Once again, eagle on hole number 4. Sean, 21. Minus 12, picking up the hole in 1-on-1. And hole number 3, that eagle on hole number 3 is difficult. And it's all about it. It's a lot to do with what kind of clubs you have. So what kind of clubs you have will give you an idea of how you can get there. Not getting the eagle on 9. Nine's a tough hole to get an eagle on, and there's several different ways. We'll talk about that one. Let me make a note here. We'll talk about hole number 9. So we got 3, 8, 6, and 9 right now. Ed, and that was Libero. Ed shooting the minus. Not sure what happened on 8. Let me put another line under 8. It's very easy to end up with par on 8, depending on the level of your club. So, like if we look at Ed, we can kind of get an idea of what 157, 30,000 games. Ed's probably got some pretty good clubs. That's it could have been a timeout issue, but it might have been just where they ended up landing on the drive. Picking up the, what's hole number 5? Picking up the hole in one on hole number 5. Getting them up to minus 12. Very nice. Duke. Kyle. Minus 12. Just a nice clean round. That's the round right there we're really looking for. And what we're really looking for is that really hard eagle on hole number 3. Green cheese. Minus 11. Hole number 3. Everything else looks good there. I bleed green. Going through the round, picking up the eagle on hole number 4, so they're on track for the minus 12. Galvanize. Minus 10. Hole number 8. Once again, hole number 8's been the... anytime we see a goose egg, we definitely want to talk about that hole, and that was the hole right there. And the eagle on hole number 9. Talk about hole number 9 a little. Mike D. Hole number 8, once again. Picking up the eagle on hole number 4. Getting the birdie on hole number 3. I'll bet Mike is really irritated about that eagle or that birdie on hole number 3. Mike's got good enough clubs and enough ball selection. He's really irritated about that. And I'll tell you the thing about hole number 3 is it's even the second shot's tough. Oh, good grief. Minus 12. Picking up the eagle on hole number 2. And otherwise, just a nice clean round. Scooby. Minus 11. Hole number 7. It might have been the same thing with me on hole number 7. Timeout. Timeout. Picked up the hole in one on 1. Picked up the eagle on 2. And then did not get the eagle on hole number 9. So we got another hole number 9 there. But hole number 7 is the one that pissed Scooby off. Comanche. Minus 11. Hole number 7. I'm sure I'm 100% sure that has to be timeout issues, and it's very easy to time out on that hole, especially with the way that the wind's blowing on this. It's a little difficult to do that wind adjustment. G-dub. Minus 9, where we have some issues. Hole number 7, hole number 9. Hole number 3 is the thing, so it's really 7 and 9. Have a dig Bick. Minus 11. Hole number 3. Otherwise, nice clean. PMAR. Minus 10. We've got the 2 eagles on 6 and 9. But picking up the eagle on hole number 2. Terry. Minus 12. Hole number 8. Once again. Eating people's lunch. Of the holes that are out there that have caused people problems, hole number 8 is the one. Flip, playing in pro. Minus 12. Great round there, Flip. Getting the eagle on hole number 2. Stefan, minus 8. Hole 8 again. Man, that hole was eating people's lunch. Hole 6 and hole 9. Those two right there. Let's see if we can help you out on that. Keith, minus 15. Keith obviously does not need any help. Maybe we should watch Keith and Flip's rounds. We might learn something. Damn, dude, that was a very nice round. Hole in one. Eagle. Hole in one. Getting the eagle on 6 and 9. Very nice round. Very nice. Stefan, hole number 7. Or 4 out of 9. And they must have been playing while we were playing here. So where are we at? So far, that's just on track for the nice clean round. Jamie, our resident expert. Jamie has been with the clan forever, for a long time. It's been a long time. He might be one of the oldest members in the clan, and he plays expert. And he's a really nice, really good guy. Glad to see you out there, Jamie. Getting the eagle on hole number 2. Getting the eagle on, not sure what happened on 7. I'm pretty sure that these pars that we're seeing on 7 have got to be timeout issues on that drive. EcoBird to start off, so minus 11, 12, 13, 14. So on track for 14. If he gets the eagle on 8, that'd be 15. Really nice round. What do we get here? Let's go look. What do we get here? Got the hole in one on 1. Not sure. Eco, I practiced the shot during the practice session and posted, like I'd repeated it over and over, and it was good. Eco used it and was had great results on it. But there's also a no move shot that's out there right now, and I'm almost thinking it might be better just because of the way that the wind's blowing with the sand, but picking up the eagle on one and picking up the hole in one and picking up the eagle on three, that's big. Picking up the hole in one on seven, very nice. So let's go look at some of these holes here. Let's go looking once again at where we're at for in the United States. Not good. Not good. At the beginning of the week, it's always, we have low reporting days on at the beginning of the week, but towards the end of the week, Thursday and Friday is the biggest reporting day of the week as far as like new cases. I don't know that we've had any Friday since this has started, at least for the last month or so, month and a half, where we've had less than 30,000 on a Friday. Always a big day. Last weekend, we had a big spike here in the United States. We had a 3-day period where we had more cases in those 3 days than any other 3 days combined. All right, so let's take a look at hole number 3. Let's talk about hole number 3, and that's Juniper Point hole number 2. Juniper Point hole number 2. No, excuse me. Juniper Point hole number 6. What? Okay. Let's see if I can read my own notes here. Sorry about that. See if we can just go through. I'm going to just go through every single hole in the tour until we find the one. All right, so realistically, if you've got the right equipment, and let me go get my pen. What would it be if I didn't have my pen? Come on. Got to be able to draw on the screen. It wouldn't be like a football training camp if we weren't able to draw on the screen. I should have been a football coach is what the deal is. I've got all this practice of drawing on the screen. So just talking about like my take on this with my lower developed account. Okay, just talking about several different ways that you can go with this. Hey, what are you barking at, buddy? Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Somebody was in my driveway walking up to my gate. My little dog was right outside the gate, so I was trying to figure out what was going on. All right, so in my lower level account, I finally actually wrote some notes down for my lower level account. I'm bringing out a QB. It's a QB 8. So it doesn't have, really a QB doesn't really start getting its stuff until level 8. And then it really doesn't start really shining until it gets to level 9. But with a QB 8 coming out into on the drive, I'm using a QB and a Titan and 2.5 topspin. And that's putting me out right in this area right here. And then coming at it with my big dog. So my big dog is putting me distance-wise is right out in this area. Now, I've tanked this shot every single time I've taken it in this account. I hit it twice. I hit the first one great and I was putting on all of the topspin on that big dog to try and get as far up into that area as I possibly could. And the first time I hit it great to the left, and I ended up in the sand. And the next time I hit it great to the right, and ended up in the. But if you aim right down towards the center of that and can hit it perfect, which seems to be evading me, you're going to have a really nice shot with your wedge, or excuse me, your short iron. And I'm using a Kingfisher. If you've got lower developed clubs, your Kingfisher is really the club that you want to get and start investing. Like if you're talking about spending your gems to upgrade your clubs, it's really the only one. Once you get it, it's the only one worth investing coin into until you can get some of the other short irons. And it's a great club. It's going to help you out a lot. And what's cool about the Kingfisher is that what's bad about it is it doesn't have a lot of power. But what's cool about it is it does have backspin right off the bat. So coming from this area right here, first bounce, second bounce, trying to get up into this area, and then taking your short iron into it, you're going to give yourself a really good look at it. I have been doing a minus 10% to the cup. And so I know at the beginning of the week, the chart that was going out when people were talking about elevation stuff at minus 10% was on the list. I came out here the first 2 times and did not do any elevation adjustment, hit it perfect, and was off the cup in the practice rounds and have made the adjustment. And so I really do believe that this minus 10 is accurate. So that's the way to do it if you've got lower developed stuff. So if you have an EM If you have an EM, you may be able to get over here with a 6 or a 7 if the wind's high enough and you get everything working in your direction. But really, an EM8 is where you can really start putting serious threat to get over. So if you're going out into this area where you've got an EM8 or an EM9, you really need a Power 5 ball. It's got to be Power 5. I'm seeing some people bring out a Power 4 ball, but I haven't seen anybody make it yet with a Power 4 ball. And I'm not saying that it can't be done, but really it's a Power 4 ball, and you want to bring out a Power 4 ball that has the lowest wind as possible. So like a snow globe where it's got no wind, or a berserker where it's got one wind. The lower the wind, the better, because you're going to use the wind. The wind is blowing off kind of in this direction right here, and you're going to use as much of that as you can. One of the things about entering this green or trying to do this is when you're setting your shot up, here's the deepest part. So, I mean, if you think about it, if you hit out here, I mean, your best shot is to enter it right here. This rolls down. It's going in this direction. So if you catch it to the left and it's here, it's gonna, and you've got a little bit of right hand curl on it, and you've got a little bit of right hand side spin. Everything that you've done, the right hand curl, the right hand side spin, everything that you've done is pulling the ball to the right, and the course itself is forcing the ball to go to the right. And so if your goal is to get right here, but you catch it a little bit great to the left, you're going to have a pretty good shot of being able to get out there on a great to the left. If you've got an EM8 and you hit it great to the right, and you're widening it out here where you're hitting on the flat, and it has to travel more through this rough, it's going to be harder to get out here. Now, if you have an EM9, this is the first time I played this hole with an extra mile line, and I'll tell you, an extra mile line is a game changer on this hole. I think even if the wind was a little bit lower, we could still, if you got an EM9, that's like a golden ticket. Don't blame me. Playdemic gave me it because there was a lot of people that were bitching about they had one card maxed out, one club maxed out, and PD wanted to do something with those extra club cards. I was perfectly content with them not doing anything with those club cards, because I knew that as soon as they did something with those club cards, people like Tommy and the people at the top were going to instantly get every single club that they had maxed out, which is exactly what happened. And then there was going to be a separation for those that had played for a long time versus those that had played for less time. If you can get out over to the other side, man, you still got some serious work to get done. I mean, if you can get out into this area out here, you still have some pretty good work to get done. My red line with my big dog is like right in this area right here. And it's a little tricky. I mean, obviously I'd like to be further up here, but with a Power 5 ball, it's this is about where my red line's at. So you still have some work to get done to get up in there. And since you don't have a lot of ball guide, it's very tricky, because when you're coming up to the green, what's happening, let me get a little bit closer. What's happening with it is your first bounce is out in here, and then your second bounce is really close to this rough. And it's a really, and what I did on one of them is I was really hesitant, and I ended up short shooting it, and it rolled back down, and it ended up down in this area, and I had a max overpower putt and missed it. It was in Tuesday's practice round, and I went out there. I was going to qualify my odd account, and was on and two and missed the putt because I was down here in this area. It is better to get up, but it's super easy to overdo it and end up blowing off on the other side. So the second shot's no gimme. Even if you get over, the second shot's no gimme. This hole, there's nothing easy about this hole, regardless of how you come at it. And it's definitely a tough eagle to get, no matter how you come at it. So, I mean, I really see that the overall thing is that this is going to continue to be a birdie hole. But if you can get an eagle on it by either getting up there, getting over here, and then getting up into, or putting yourself in a really good short iron shot right here, you can increase your odds of getting the eagle on this hole. Hole number 6, that's another problem hole. And hole number 6 is Juniper Point. Hole number 5. I don't even remember what hole we're on here. Hole number 6. All right. I see 2 problem areas on this hole. Well, 3 really. When I get down to it. Well, problem number 1 is if you're using this island, and let's clean that up. If you're using this island, you have to land on the island. And I'm seeing a lot of people come to this island, and I'm not sure who convinced everybody that the only way that they can get on that island is with an extra mile. But if you're going to go to the island, use your QB. In one-on-one play, I play this hole with a QB and a Marlin. So if you bring out a Katana or a Titan, the King of Balls, or a Kingmaker or anything bigger, it's just going to be easier. But why would you shoot to a little teeny landing pad like this with a club that hits somewhere between 2.4 and 2.1 per ring versus something that hits 1 per ring? So, I mean, let's think about it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our center. Here's the dead center, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings. Okay, and you're with a quarterback, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles per hour. And with your extra mile, it's 2.1. If you've got an upper developed one, 4.2, 6.3. I mean, so if you hit a 1 ring great to the left or the right with your QB and you're lined up dead center in the middle of this, it's going to go 1 mile per hour to the left or the right. You're going to end up in the fairway. It's going to bleed forward. You got a straightforward shot with your wood. No sand in your way, no nothing. Get on the green, get your putt, get your eagle, and move the heck down the road. But if you take an extra mile and you hit it 1 ring great to the left or the right, that's 2.1 miles per hour. So that's 2 rings on your QB. That's like hitting with your QB, you could hit a 2 ring great to the left or the right, and you still might make it. Okay, but if you hit a 1 ring great with your extra mile and you didn't set it up right down the center, there's a good chance you're going to end up in the rough. And guess what happens if you end up in the rough over here? You're going to get a birdie. Hey, that's what's that word? No bueno. Hey, that's bad. So I'm confused why when I see people and a lot of my opponents have gone over there and they're using an extra mile, and I'm not sure. I guess they're married to their extra mile. I guess that's the only club that they can take out on the course on a hole like that. Why wouldn't you bring the most accurate club in your bag? I like this shot over here. And one-on-one, this is the only way I go. And I only go at it with a QB. Why wouldn't I? And you can do it with a QB and a Marlin. So if you bring out a bigger ball, it's just going to be easier. The shot going forward, I will tell you, risk number 1 is once again, extra mile. Okay, with your extra mile, you can get down into this hole, way down into that hole. And in this hole, okay, here's the rough. You can get way down in there. But you need to put on at least plus 20%. I mean, if you've watched my videos for a long time, I will say this once, I will say it every time, as I am always 2 rings off of any transitional surface. There's no way that I want to get any closer. There are some times when you're on areas like this that it's flat and you can eke yourself a little bit closer, and there's no risk as long as you make a great wind adjustment. But this is not one of those areas. This is one of those areas that from the tee box, it's downhill to this spot and it carries a lot. So I wouldn't want to be any closer than 2 rings off of this area. And even with 2 rings off, which is 4.2 miles per hour, I would still want to do a 20%. I don't want to I see a lot of people get caught up in this area. The thing about an extra mile is that you need, this shot right here is much, much, much easier if you bring a big topper. Now, your big topper red line is going to be somewhere out in this area, and you bring a Titan, the King of Balls, and with maximum top spin, and however much right-hand side spin you can get on, your ball is going to be right about there, and you're going to be in the rough. Now, the wind here is going like this. So your big topper, depending on level, is going to be, it could be anywhere from 3 per ring to 1.9 if you got it all the way maxed up. It's somewhere in the 2 per ring area for most of its life. Your white ring, you're 5 rings off of that rough area down there. I mean, you're way away from that. So the wind here, if you leave the wind in, which has been running in the 3 mile an hour, depending on what kind of wind ball you have, at 2 miles per hour, you got 10 miles per hour of maneuver up here. And so even if you don't take the wind out and you leave the wind in, you got plenty of room. I've been doing just a sliver. And when I say a sliver, I mean like rubbing up against the nubs. You can tell that it's an overpower because it's shaken, but the needle's not going any faster. And it's been leaving me a good 2 or 3 rings off of the rough down here. And it's been landing me like in here. I've been getting into what kind of distance? I wrote it down. Where is that hole? What hole is this? 6? I've been getting into the 390 plus range, which is putting me into my maximum long iron, or I could shoot it as a minimum wood. I have that option. So really, it's the problem areas are either getting in the rough over here because people are using an EM or not an accurate club, or they're overshooting this and they're ending up in the rough right here. Those are the 2 big areas. And you can avoid this by bringing a big topper, and you'll net more distance with a big topper and a Titan than you will with an extra mile and a Titan. So it's a much better deal with a big topper. And you can aim towards this area right here. So you've got, if you draw the line over here, you've got a big window. If you hit it great to the left or the right, you still got plenty of room for it to be able to travel forward and keep you out of the rough. So safe way to go would be a big topper. It's actually the safest way to go over here, I think, is with a big topper. Safest way over here, QB. Now, the third trouble area that I know, I know, and it's been a while since it's happened to me, but I typically like to come onto this hole with, the reason that I like to bring a Kingmaker on this hole is because of the 3 side spin. Because I want to stay, this sand is an optical illusion. This is not a sand trap. This is a magnet. And I want to stay the hell away from this sand. And I see a lot of people come in from the angle that they're coming in on this. If they're coming in from this direction, if you're coming in from over here from the island, you got a straight up shot. I mean, unless you absolutely blow it and end up in the rough out here, I mean, it's almost impossible not to get your eagle from that island if you land on the island on the drive. Where people can get in trouble on their second shot here is when they're trying to bring the ball around so that they're staying on the flat part up here, and they rub up against this. Use more side spin so that you can stay 2 or 3 rings off in this direction. Once again, I'm a big fan of always being a minimum of 2 rings off of any transitional surface. And just because I've been bit by this hole so many times, by this sand trap, that I like to be as far away as I can possibly be. So max side spin. And bringing a 3 side spin ball is good, so that I can bring the ball around like this and I can stay the heck away from this area, because I'm sure that this is probably the third problem area, is people landing in the rough and the sand here. The farther away you are, if you do catch a grade on the inside, catch a grade to the right, it's not going to hurt you. You're still going to be able to get up to the green. And it may not be your first bounce that you need to be looking at. It's your second bounce. Because a lot of times you may be on the first bounce, you may have been, you gave yourself some room, but you're trying to bring it around, and depending on how you're doing it, your second bounce may be very close up here and you clip the rough. So trying to bring the ball a little bit to the left so that you're bringing it around like this and trying to avoid this trap altogether. Hopefully something there, maybe like maybe that'll help. Maybe, hopefully. Let's check out hole number 7. Hole number 7, I think what I'm seeing on hole number 7, we've had some people that had goose eggs, including me. I think that was just timeout issues. And that's because this is Juniper Point, hole number 7. And I think the deal here is the way that the wind's blowing, it's a weird angle for the wind adjustment. So if we're up in this area, the wind's blowing like this. So when you're pulling it out and you spin around and I'm actually instead of pulling the wind out, because when you're on this side over here looking at your ball and you're trying to pull the wind out, you're pulling it up this hill and it's an odd angle. So this is one of those times where instead of pulling the wind out, I come at it from this direction and push the wind out. And the angle that you're looking at it, because of the slope here, it's an odd angle, and it seems it's a weird angle to pull it at. And so it's taking just a little bit more time to set that shot up. And so, the timeout issues, we just have to get, and I'm in that same boat, just have to get a little bit better, a little bit faster at setting it up to begin with, so that you can take a little bit more time when you're setting up the wind. Hole number 8, this is the hole that's kicking people's butt. And this is City Park, hole number 2. All right. There are a bunch of different ways that you can go at this hole. If I can get it. What are you barking about, bro? What is your general malfunction? I'll bust you up. You're going to tear me up, aren't you? Okay, so I've taken this with my QB. You can get on, I don't care if you've got upper developed clubs or lower developed clubs. If you're having a problem on this hole, quit dinking around and go get your eagle and move on. Give yourself an opportunity go get your birdie. Give yourself an opportunity for eagle and move on down the road. And the way you can do that is to take your QB. Go watch my 99 account. It's a perfect example. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get in front of this line right here. Trying to get in front of that line. I'm trying to get right here in the middle. I don't want to put any of this stuff into play. And in my 99 account, what I'm doing is I'm 3 rings off. So when I get on the hole, I'm playing this with a Titan, a sniper and a Titan. And it's like a level 4 or 5 sniper. It's not a very high sniper. It doesn't even have any distance. I'm looking at the wrong hole. QB. And I think it's level 8, Titan. I'm 3 rings off of this. So when you're out here, your ring set's out like this. And I'm pulling it out, and I'm I'm looking at it at the angle and trying to line it up so that the tip of this rough out here is about where my blue ring's at. And I'm putting on 3 topspin max. And this is with a level 8 QB. So if you've got an upper developed QB, you can get on Golf Clash Notebook and see kind of like what the differences in distance are. You can. I was doing it before with like 2.5, but I think I have enough room for 3. There is a spot out here that if you catch it, if you put too much on, it'll slide you, and you can end up in this. And I'm not interested in risking that. So depending on the level of your QB, with my upper developed count, I think it's right around 2, just because it has more raw distance. And so 3 rings off of this. Max curl, max left hand, maximum 3 topspin, maximum left hand side spin, maximum left hand curl, no overpower. Hit it perfect, and it goes right here. Hit it great to the left, it goes right here. Or left, it goes right here. Hit it great to the right, it goes right here. You are so not going to get in the rough. It's not even funny. And guess what? You got a nice clean shot, even with my sniper that only hits 160, you have a shot. I, however, have upped it to a hammerhead just because my hammerhead gives me a little bit better look, and I don't have to get quite as deep into the hole. So I have switched to my hammerhead. You can play it with a Viper. If you've got an upper developed sniper, you're going to have a beautiful shot with your sniper there. If you get in front of this, okay, if you get up here, do you have a much better shot? Absolutely. Okay, you got a long iron shot. Come on, get real. Even if you end up in the rough up here, you can get up with your Nirvana and you got a pretty decent shot. Absolutely. But do you want to take any risk of getting a 0 on this hole? Absolutely not. Okay, so if you're having any problem, if you've got a shot in the bag, you can do a max overpower hook shot here. You can start off, it's pretty much, I think it's about blue ring off of this transitional point. So it's first cut of the rough, second cut of the rough, third cut of the rough, fourth cut of the rough. It's somewhere, I think blue ring off the transition between the second and the third cut of the rough, that's going to put you pretty close to the right area. where you can do a max overpower shot and try and get yourself in a forward position up in this area. I'm not doing this in my lower level account because I don't have any recovery clubs. Even if I end up in the rough or the sand up here, this is long iron range. I don't have anything in my 99 account. If you don't have a Nirvana or an Amazon or a maxed out Razor or an off-roader that's upper level, if you don't have a club that hits 130 yards, then you're using a short iron and you ain't going to get on from there. So if you don't have an upper developed or a Nirvana, any kind of Nirvana in your bag, and you're taking the risk of getting up here because, hey, if I get up here, I may have a better shot of getting eagle, and you can't recover if you end up in here, then you need to lay up because, you know, you may pick that up, but if you don't, you just went from trying to get an eagle to getting a par. And so laying up right here gives you a decent shot every single time to the cup. And a decent shot every single time to the cup and getting your birdie every single time is much better than ever getting a goose egg. And I will do that shot. I know that I could get aggressive on this hole and try and get up here. I know that I can. I know that if I'm here, it's a much better shot. But the deal is that this isn't a hole that I want to ruin my round on. There's other low-hanging fruit that we can pick up shots, and not getting a goose egg on this hole. And of all of the holes that I saw, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in the clan that got a goose egg on this hole. And if you're having problems, lay it up. Okay, use this as your marker. 3 rings off. With my rock, I'm doing 3. I've got a maxed out rock, 3 3/4 rings off. And I'm putting on max topspin, and it's bleeding me right down through the center. So I'm getting right down through. I'm doing 3 3/4 rings off of this, and max curl, max side spin, and it's bringing me right down through the center. With 3 1/4, it was putting me so a perfect would miss this, and a great to the right would end up putting me in the rough or the sand. And a great to the left, I had plenty of room, so I'm going to move it out just a little teeny bit so that I can be right dead center in the middle of this. But I can afford to do that because if I get caught up in the rough or the sand down here, guess what? I've got a Nirvana. I have a Spitfire, okay? And what are they? They're long irons. And I can recover if I'm down here. But if you don't have those in your bag, lay it up. Okay? Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, damn it. What's another hole? Hole number 9. Let's talk about hole number 9. Hole number 9. This is hole number 6, the City Park. Hole number 9. All right. I will tell you, and I'll totally admit it. If you can get down into this area down here, you know, if you're in this area right here, you got a shot. And if you got a big dog in your bag, if you're way up in here and you got a big dog in your bag, you can actually bounce it in the front and you can actually go for the Albie. But it's very tricky to get down in here. And if you're down in this area here, even though you like on arc wise from the cup, you think, hey, you're not in that, it's the angle such that you can't, if you're here versus being here, from here, you can go from here to the green. If you're here, it's a little bit tougher to do it. What I end up having to do when I'm in this area, which is where I find myself more often than not when I take this shot, is I have to chip it up into this. I avoid that sand. I don't, at that point I bag trying to go for the Albie. The whole goal on this hole is to get an eagle. And I will pitch it off to the side so that I have a chip. And the closer the chip, the better. You want to be like right there by the fringe so that so wind's not really a factor. Trying to go for it. And my lower level account, I'm doing the shot that I practiced all week. And what I wanted to do is I really wanted to give the top of this mound a second look. And so if you're at the top of that mound, what I'm doing in my low level account is I'm bringing a QB. I know this is going to sound a little confusing. I'm bringing a QB and a Titan. I'm doing 2 to 2.5 top spin. Oh, excuse me. I was looking at the next shot. I'm using my QB. I've got a level 8 QB, and I'm putting on max top spin, which I think in that QB, it's not much. It's maybe 4 top spin. It's not a lot. Maybe a little less than that for a level 8. I'm putting on max topspin. The wind, I believe, is blowing in this direction. I think it is. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking the wind out and then I'm putting 1 mile per hour back in. But I'm taking all of the side wind out and then I'm pushing in 1 mile per hour of power back into it. And it's putting me pretty nicely up here at the top. I'm leaving a little bit on the table. There is a little bit more forward movement I can get, but it drops off at the very end where it comes down and it drops off, and I don't want to get involved in that drop. I did have one shot that I did where I was like literally like, here's where the rough starts, and I was literally right there. But I don't really want to mess around too much with that drop. So, dude, you are tearing my shoelaces up. And so with my lower level account, I'm doing max top spin, tighten, putting 1 mile per hour back in. I'm doing a plus 20% on the drive because it is wanting to push it off a little bit more to this side. And then I'm putting 1 mile per hour back in. Getting up here to the top. Big dog in this area right here is where my red line is. I'm doing, and you got to play it depending on where you ended up here. It's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 topspin. And you got to kind of watch it because up here it wants to slide. So the ball guide's kind of, it looks like, hey, I need to put on like 4 topspin, and you can put on the 4 topspin, and on a normal shot, it'd probably be okay. But what it's doing here is it's sliding and it'll throw you off the back. So putting on 2 to 3 topspin and either ending up right here in the front or getting up to the cup level. And I'm not doing any extra wind adjustment, but I am doing on the big dog shot, I'm putting on 2 to 3 topspin, maximum left-hand side spin, maximum left-hand curl. And I've got my shot, the way my shot's set up is my angle's going like this. I'm coming from this, and my ball, my second bounce, my first bounce is here, and my second bounce is right on the transition between the fairway and the rough, right on that transition. And so I'm trying to cover this angle right here, and I'm doing that with side spin and maximum curl. And then it's coming right at it. It's just all about speed there. So if you take that shot a few times, but that's a pretty easy way to do it. The shot coming down the hill. Let's talk about the shot coming down the hill. We all know that if you can get right there, you're in the catbird seat. From right here, you got an Albie shot, serious Albie shot. The deal is getting down there. So if you got a lower developed account and you can get down there, awesome. But if you end up in the rough here, you end up in the rough here, you end up in the rough here, you are SOL because you can't get up. Once again, this is long iron range and you can't get up. If you've got upper developed clubs and you've got a Nirvana in your bag and you end up in the rough down here, because in my 77 account and my odd account, I'm going for it and I'm trying to work out like what it would take to either bleed all the way through and get way up in here. I've ended up in the rough down here on the 2 times that I've done it. I can recover, so it's not a big deal. And actually, from where I was at right here, I had a serious Albie shot today, taken out even with a Nirvana. So if you have upper developed stuff, there's really no risk of going down here. As long as you don't epic fail up here, as long as you get your second bounce here so that you can, or your bounce here so that you can go in a forward direction. Ideally, we want to clip the rough so that we just bleed out into this area and stop. I'm trying to get super greedy, and I'm trying to see if I can breeze past this and end up here. So I'm just getting a little bit greedy on it, just because I know that I can recover. So I'm being greedy, but I'm going to continue to work this shot in my account because I know that I can recover as long as I can make it down into this area. But if you're having problems getting the eagle on this, there is an opportunity to get a pretty easy eagle by just laying up at the top of this hill, bringing a big dog and going at it. And you can take this shot with a QB. So you got a 100% accurate club. So you're less likely to end up in the rough over here or the rough over here. All right. So hopefully that helped everybody with some holes that I saw that people were having problems with. Looks like we got some really good scores going on, and everybody looks like they're doing really good. So hopefully everybody has a great opening round, and I will post some content. We're going to be super busy tomorrow. Got several jobs to do tomorrow, so I will probably play tomorrow evening, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right, thanks for watching.